Welcome to the Culture Zone. Yes. Here we are. You know where you are, in the Culture Zone. I'm excited. You see it on my face? Yes, because this guest that I have to bring to you is one that I would say, you remember the term little but talawa? Yes. When they thought of it, they thought of her. But wait, let me calm down. Take a look and I'll come right back.
When you reach Pisgah, pause. Allow the red dirt to orient you. Pine feel the senses. Carry you to the border of two-sided concrete adventures and don't ask for directions, realities. They'll tell you, go straight. It's not far. Go straight. Stand in the square, wear protection against the box mentality, but not the memory of little feet dancing through red mud, teeth in journeys through cashew and pine from unending fields. Lest you feel like this child again. Look west from the church, the spot used to mark the mile, the walk to post office, winding round roads, the skipping and fruit picking. This is the journey. Mark it. Focus. Peer into the next parish. Find the slender coconut tree beyond the border of brush, away from asphalt. This is Berkshire. Go deeper still. Find Great River. The spring I sprung from. Find Greenwood. Come home. Let the heart and kerosene lamp your laughter. These are directions from the border. My heart to yours.
What a journey. Did you feel as intrigued as I was when I first met this young lady, coming from the depth of the heart and soul of the country, and is just such a warm, sweet, amazing young woman? So you see how excited I am? Well, my dear, you are in the Culture Zone, and I am very proud to bring to you in a formal way Yashika Graham. And you know who she is? A Jamaican writer, visual artist, and the 2019 recipient of the Mervyn Morris Prize for Poetry. An executive member of the Poetry Society of Jamaica. She won the 2018 and the 2019 Poetry Clash competitions at the University of the West Indies, the UWI, where she studies literature in English. I think she should be graduating this year, but my goodness, what a soul, what a spirit, what talent. And in 2016, she won the noteworthy Writer Award from the Jamaica Creative Writing Competition for her poem, Time Travel, for which she released a 2017 short film following the release of her 2019 short film. But I'm telling you too much to go into about this young lady, and I want you to share her with me as we learn a little bit more. Let's hear us talk. Welcome, Yashika, to the Culture Zone. How are you?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm well. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. And I know this is not your first rodeo, because when I read your biography and the amount of things you have done in your short time on earth, I'm sure you have done many interviews of this nature. But just relax, because Culture Zone is all of what that is. Just serious culture. We're going to get into the nitty-gritties of what it is you do. And as I said at the top, I'm going to consider you one of my favorite poets. And what is awesome for me is that I'm looking at this young lady with such talent. I'm going to quickly say, first of all, your name, Yashika. That is like a name already made for stage. What did this come about? When your mom named you, what was she thinking?
My mother says that my paternal uncle named me, and that he had just seen the name, said that it was Japanese in origin. So no genetic connection necessarily. But then I later did more research and found that it also has Indian connections. And I've also been told that it has African connections. So it seems to border on, just a cultural unity or a mixture of people.
A blend of different ethnicities,
Yeah.
and there it is now. You, and just so you know, you look like you mix up too.
There is something going
Yes,
on.
yes, but it's interesting. I always talk to my guests and find out where, how their name came about, why they were named a particular name, and so on. And your story is interesting. Just like your uncle saw it somewhere, liked it. But I believe everything is divine and nothing happens by chance. And your name just rings so beautifully, especially as an artist on stage. Just hear it, Yashika Graham. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When did you decide that you want to become a poet?
When did I decide? I think, well, I should tell you about when I started writing. I started writing when I was a young child, and I started journaling from that stage. I didn't quite decide to become a poet in particular. What I do remember is wanting to document what happened in the day. For example, oh, we went to spring. Oh, I just washed up the dishes. We're watching this show now. So that's how it started. My first poem was just trying to see if I could write a poem. I heard a poem on the radio and I thought, I could do that. I was maybe 8, and I remember trying to match the rhyme scheme, and it was a corny love poem.
Yes.
And trying to write it. And so me writing poetry at that stage was just to see if I could do this new thing. And I think it stuck.
Just like that. So you sat down, yes, you heard the radio, but clearly I consider things divine, as I said. And the fact that you felt that inclination, it meant that there was something in there. And and then you got the interest, you wrote that poem. The piece you wrote, do you remember? Did you, clearly you're somebody who documents things. You still have that piece, right?
It's somewhere. It's in a book somewhere. I do still have it. I don't remember the lines, but I know it was a love poem.
Okay. You said it was a corny love poem because back in our day, everybody writes roses are red, violets are blue, and then we rhyme up with it, you know.
Yeah.
So
it was heavy on the rhyme.
Heavy on the rhymes.
Yeah.
So okay, that happened at 8. When was the first time you then performed in an arena where you were announced to come on stage as a poet? When did you make that first leap?
That's interesting you should ask that, because I was just watching my high school graduation video last week, and that was the very first time that I was presented on a stage to read a poem. I wrote a dedication to my graduating class and presented it at graduation. So it kind of felt like I was graduating from high school and also being presented or moving into art. And that was
It's the launch. You were launched at the ending of one aspect of your life and springboarding into another. That's an amazing arena to launch at a graduation ceremony. That's awesome. And then it took off from there. So when did you enter your first competition then?
Competition. That may have been JCDC in 2016.
Hallelujah for JC, Jamaica Cultural Development. Hallelujah. Yes.
Yeah. And then I entered Poetry Clash that's the UWI's Poetry Clash competition in 2018 and 2019.
That's what I see on the bio. Yes. An executive member you are now of the Poetry Society of Jamaica, where you won the 2018 and 2019 Poetry Clash competition at where you are currently at. You're at UWI right now. You will precious heart, the little baby. Yeah. She's at UWI and you're doing your major is?
Literatures in English.
Makes sense. Literatures in English. And do you write in the Jamaican vernacular as well, your pieces?
I think, like many Jamaicans and Caribbean people, I navigate both languages. So you'll find both moving from one to the next in all of my writing, or most of it.
Well, absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, your bio is extensive. As I said, you have done quite a bit in your short life here on earth. Bless your heart. But I know there's greater things coming. Are you published? Do you have any pieces that you actually have published where somebody can actually access your work by a book?
Yes.
Or a CD form, or what?
Right. So I'm currently working on my first poetry collection, meaning my own book of my own work, but I have been published in journals and magazines, both in print and online. Mm-hmm. So if persons want to read stuff online, they could check out my work in Pre-Lit, that's Pree, lit. They'll find a short story, poetry, and in general, they can just Google my name and they may find work online.
You are one interesting personality. And you mentioned writing stories. So I know I glimpsed somewhere that you actually did a short film as well. So mm-hmm. you've launched your career in acting as well.
Perhaps. I am a performer. I don't know if I'm an actor so much. I prefer to say that I'm a performer.
It's all right. You can take it a notch down by saying that, but I'm going to tell you, I perform and I'm an actress. If you act and you're performing, you're an actress. So, but we're going to check out your short film that you have, or that's what you call it. What's the title of that?
The first one was called Directions from the Border. And then the next one that was published was called Time Travel.
Today I put a piece of dry coconut and ripe banana together. And I taste my granny yard. Taste fruit I can't recall. Taste the rhythm of being young and full of ramping. And I wonder where the years have gone. Wandered out of the city, into the boardhouse in the bush, and re-entered me at 8. And to think how I longed to be big and tall and out of parental ordering. Longed not to be deemed fresh and feisty by misunderstanding, and how now, close to 30, with new eyes petitioning my knees, I long for that place, shifting through time.
I. Oh my goodness! Time travel. This little tiny bundle of joy and bundle of talent is able to give you such expanse of her life. Isn't that wonderful? We all should always sit and reminisce. And I love the journey that she took us on as she traveled through and remembered herself being an 8-year-old. How many of us remember being 8? Me. Remember like it was yesterday, and sometimes I lock that memory, but I was just so privileged to talk with this young woman and to just travel with her and journey with her, and I'm just so excited to share her with you. But listen, let me calm down. We continue the conversation, so watch again.
So do you find that you are inclined to doing pieces that are on social issues, or is it just about man-woman relationship?
In recent years, I have been telling stories about rural life a lot and the seemingly ordinary, and trying to chronicle the sacredness in it, and trying to, as an individual, just to observe that life more closely. Because I grew up in rural Jamaica.
I was going to get to that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think moving away from rural Jamaica and looking at it again is a different experience. And so in my recent work, as I said, that has really been my focus, just observing that and trying to tell stories centered in that place.
From that authentic space in the rural part of your beginnings. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you miss it, because I'll just quickly interject myself here by telling you, as a transplant from Jamaica here in the US, When I crave for my culture, I look back at things that I took for granted.
Yeah.
I yearn for it. I am digging for pieces and things from Jamaica, anything that's authentically Jamaican or anything Caribbean for that matter. While I'm here in the US, that hunger is there in such in great form that I couldn't even measure it. So I can imagine you, a transplant from your rural Jamaica, humble beginnings, now into the big city and having to figure out and navigate and then pulling back. You did something recently on mother, yeah?
I write a lot about my mother, so
It's probably...
So, is it a poem called My Mother?
No, I think it's something about just remembering how your mom worries about you and knowing that you're away and how you juxtapose the time.
I know the poem.
You know?
That sounds like sustenance.
Sustenance. Give me a drop that for me because I think it's gonna warm out because I heard about it and I said I need to get it. So drop sustenance on me. Go with it.
Sustenance. My mother worries for me that in this city, every ounce of earth I eat is paid for. She questions whether it might not suit me better to be home. There is no outer ground in this jungle, no sprouts of grass to soak the palms with dew, to mark a life renewed. She knows I cannot walk out and pick the recurring okra Mas Richard planted, no breadfruit behind this house. She knows no neighbor of mine will come down through the cocoa walk, cross the stone wall, and bring me sweet potato, red peas, and accept couple lime. For things like these, one must pay with inedible currency. So each time I move home, intent on staying, mother goes hunting on the wide leaves of pumpkin, pulls down boiled banana trees, digs the early yam, makes a tart juice from passion, says, "Here, take this, be filled."
Oh my God, wicked. Look at me. Mesmerized. You're amazing. Oh my God, your mother must proud. Looks of mercy. And let me tell you, it's an honor for me to sit here to speak with a young lady that has such profound lyrics and such a deep person in just your few years.
My mother. My mother saves pear seeds to catch the breed. The inside of deep sunset pumpkin to fill the yard with secrets of its vines. My mother is a bushwoman, sings river valleys to mountain tops, springs light from the blank into high sailing hallelujahs. My mother is a bushwoman, grazing green thumb in earth revival, springing vines from concrete. This woman, raised on yellow heart breadfruit and bush tea, made tomato and cucumber shake, with a salt and pepper resolve. So I fell in love with taste. This woman, heavy-handed, good timing connoisseur of the bellyful, with kindred gift of great river balance, seldom fails to laugh, to love, even with a tribe of wild picnic. My mother is a Greenwood woman, bred of the bush.
So we encourage everyone to take a moment to find out who this young lady is, Yashika Graham, amazing poet, lifting Jamaica so high and waving the flag in such a wonderful way. And your family must be proud, your mother must proud, can't done, because I'm going to adopt you now as my little one. Yashika Graham, it was just an honor to have you right here in the Culture Zone. And you're getting emotional. So again, thank you for sharing that piece with me. And I'm going to just take it and run with it. I'm going to learn some more about you too. But in fact, we're going to cut away and we're going to show our viewers some of the pieces you've done and catch you in live performance. So Yashika Graham, thank you so much, darling. Walk good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And stay just as wonderful as you are.
Thank you so much. Bye.
This is for the lady on the news, without the face, with the poetry, who for our safety coded language, because we're not ready for the God in her. Metaphors otherwise unseen, because they too, ostriches, head on the system's sand, cannot see through the grainy lies and the smoke of a home that was. This is for you, and this is for Spanish Town, recollecting all the rounds spent shelling lives into oblivion, burying them in a place not far from here, but where lawns manicured the road of hope, and men, under the guise of kings, carved blockades into consciousness. Lady unknown, this is not about them. This is for you.
I come from the present, the present soul to your now, to fill the gaps in your understanding when politicians quake in the wake of a man not 5'5". Words will always teach you. History never dies with fathers, but rests on the pillows of sleeping widows, in the cracked palms of sun-baked, mud-laked souls, in the hearts of mothers pregnant with the revolution. And they boast this independence. They boast this dry weather government, frock tail overhead, hoarding ignorance in this corporate rumbar of a cabinet. House Speaker, perpetuator of the madness. And there are children stockpiling babies. Sacred wombs become hoteling rooms, cloaked in the misunderstanding that there lies nothing beyond the bush, that magic doesn't grow on trees, and we all know that magic grows on trees. They've set up permanent camps, a squatter land of ignorance. But revolutions seldom wait beyond their time, and revolutionaries seldom wait behind the blind misguide of leaders. There is more in us than we wrap our whims around, more power than we rock to. Speak and be heard, move and be felt. Because when the revolution comes, the belly of knowledge will unbound and exit the land that contains it. Claim itself, rename itself, and we will return for the deputy. For the left hand is no less guilty than the right.
So, there we have it. Another wonderful episode of the Culture Zone. Who felt like they were in the zone? You know, as usual, I'm always in the zone. And especially when I talk to artists as great as the ones that I bring to you, I'm still trembling from just the passion and the joy of speaking with this young woman and watching her work. What a piece of talent! Let me tell you at the beginning, little but talawa. I want to learn more about her. I'm so hungry to know and find out more about her, and I'm sure you are too. Lux, I wonder if we can catch a flight to Jamaica, but yes, and want to travel with just the same pathway. You see the bramble and the bush and the stone. Her slippers are cutie, but anyway, I really want to learn more about Yashika Graham, and I know you will. So listen, I'm going to leave with some more pieces that she has done, and I know you will enjoy them. But again, thanks for staying with me in the zone, and I'll catch you another time when I bring you an artist worth remembering.
I come from the present, the present soul to your now, to fill the gaps in your understanding when politicians quake in the wake of a man not 5'5". Words will always teach you. History never dies with fathers, but rests on the pillows of sleeping widows, in the cracked palms of sun-baked, mud-laked souls, in the hearts of mothers pregnant with the revolution. And they boast this independence. They boast this dry weather government, frock tail overhead, hoarding ignorance in this corporate rumbar of a cabinet. House Speaker, perpetuator of the madness. And there are children stockpiling babies. Sacred wombs become hoteling rooms, cloaked in the misunderstanding that there lies nothing beyond the bush, that magic doesn't grow on trees, and we all know that magic grows on trees. They've set up permanent camps, a squatter land of ignorance. But revolutions seldom wait beyond their time, and revolutionaries seldom wait behind the blind misguide of leaders. There is more in us than we wrap our whims around, more power than we rock to. Speak and be heard, move and be felt. Because when the revolution comes, the belly of knowledge will unbound and exit the land that contains it. Claim itself, rename itself, and we will return for the deputy. For the left hand is no less guilty than the right.
100,000 poets for change.